to run these initiatives and really see, some healthy, happy street space.
Being part of Open Streets has been really exciting. We're interested in making people view their neighbourhood streets in a different way, being spaces for everyone and multi-use spaces, not just for throughways for cars.
And just listen to all this noise. It's great having everyone have so much fun around you and just being active. No, we're really stoked. We should happen every day.
This is very attractive for parents and kids to spend together. I think it's encouraging people to ride to the school.
I think it's definitely a good idea to get people active and getting people involved with the community. Because of this, it got a lot of me and my friends to ride to school every day. I get to see all my friends and talk to new people.
My name is Angelica Panopoulos and I'm your new Mayor of Merri-bek City Council. I'm a lifelong local. I've just finished uni, so I'm a law grad. I'm an activist and I've been a councillor for 2 years now. So today we are along the Moonee Ponds Creek in Glenroy, and this is somewhere where I've come ever since I was a little kid with my family, with my dog, down for walks by the creek and played in the park, and I've got lots of fun memories here. There's a lot to love about Merri-bek. I think the fact that we've got such a diverse, eclectic mix of people here who call this area home and who all care about this area is something that really sets us apart and makes me quite proud to be from this area. So my spare time's been a bit limited up until now. I do like just to see my friends, to relax, read a good book, and to get out and to see new things. It's hard to choose just one or two of my favourite places in Merri-bek. I think most important is wherever I am with my friends or my family and having a good time, that's where I like to be. Also had some great times just sitting in Coburg Mall and having chats with people, and so really anywhere where there's a bit of energy and a bit of life happening, I think it's quite fun to be around there. There's a few big challenges facing Merri-bek right now. In terms of broader challenges, I think we need to work together to bring the community with us on particular journeys, say to reconciliation, to other forms of equality that we need to have happen in our community. As the Mayor of Merri-bek, I hope to achieve a few things. I hope that first and foremost, we can make council seem a lot more accessible to people, and as though this isn't something that you have to wait until you're much older to do or until you've got X amount of years of work experience. I think making it quite clear to people that this is council, it belongs to you as much as it belongs to me, and so we should all get involved, and I really want that to be the overriding, message throughout this mayoral year.
Well, they did putting the solar panel on top of the roof. It looks beautiful. And what is important is knowing the help that it could for us, for our energy sufficiency. I saw everyone here in our neighborhood is putting solar. So I said to myself, I will think about it. I will not lose anything, so I choose to put it. And that makes a difference. It helps us when we receive the bill now. We saw the difference from the usual amount that we paid, so it went down, and I think it will help us. The money that is being not paid before, we can use it with other things, and I think the overall help of that solar being installed in our roof is really to save some money and also helping the climate change. And it will really make a difference for the earth, in a way, it is helping us. So I will recommend, don't hesitate to put this solar panel in your roof. It is a big difference to have it.
Pedestrians and bike riders, including a large and growing number of Coburg High School students, are at risk every day on and around Coburg's Bell Street Bridge at the Nicholson and Elizabeth Street intersection.
The area is notorious for traffic accidents. Recently, a Coburg High School student was injured by a car while walking in the area.
Footpaths on the Bell Street Bridge are significantly narrower than other bridges in the area, yet the Bell Street Bridge carries more traffic than almost any other road in Merri-bek, 47,000 vehicles a day. The narrow paths, along with high volumes of cars, trucks and buses, pose an unacceptable risk to safety and accessibility in our community.
We know that more than 1,000 people walk and wheel across the bridge on weekdays, just in the morning and afternoon peak periods. Even more use the bridge during the day and on weekends. We also know that students are worried about walking and cycling across the bridge. And for many, it's their only way to and from school, or to access the after-school activities and shops.
I've heard lots of horror stories about near misses and things like that, but most of what I see is just less than a metre in between the pedestrians and the cars, and 3 lanes of traffic going as fast as they want. It's really not a secure space because there's no separation in between the traffic, which is loud and fast, and the footpath where usually school kids are walking across.
I use the Bell Street Bridge almost every day, maybe 4 times a week, and it just makes me feel very unsafe. I myself have had terrible experiences on the bridge.
The thing is, I haven't seen one. I've actually been in an accident. We were just like traffic, waiting for the green light, and then out of nowhere, pow, the back of the car just gets slammed into by another one. We practically jump out of our seats.
It's one of the main connections to get me home, so yeah, I have to use it on a daily basis. I've seen some near misses. I've been in a few near misses myself, especially around the little island in front of the service station.
So I was actually involved in a car accident myself. It was in the rain, a lady lost control of her van and actually went into the barricade. So I got pulled back from that and then had to pull one of the ladies out of the car. I was probably in year 9. So that was pretty traumatic and pretty scary to see. That kind of put me off using the bridge, especially by myself. It's very small and it's especially after school and before school, there's lots of kids going to and forth, especially because there's a 7-Eleven there. So it can be pretty packed, and obviously after school traffic makes it really, really hard. They've already implemented different lower limits, but in a sense that doesn't really change anything because not everyone follows the rules. Our school has lots of active transport modes. We use the bike paths and things that surround the Bell Street Bridge, including Merri Creek. There's kids coming to and from every single day, and I think that it's super important that we make that environment more safer and more easily accessible for students of all ages.
That is why we're asking all parties to commit $250,000 to investigate and design safe and accessible active travel options over Coburg's Bell Street Bridge. We need this investigation to be completed urgently within the next 12 months.
We're ready for all levels of government to work together with the community to promote safe, active travel for the current and future students of Coburg High School and the communities of Merri-bek and Darebin City. To show your support, visit change.org and sign the No More Accidents in the Bell Street Risk Zone petition.
I had insulation put up on the top of the roof. It was a good thing to do. When I read it in your local paper, and it said, it does help, and the lady was very happy. And I said, if she's happy, I think I will be happy too. And yeah, I think it's the best thing that I came up with. The difference that it's made, it's comfortable, especially in summer. I hate summer. Yeah, winter I can put a jacket on, but summer it's terrible for me. So this, keeps everything down nice and clean, comfortable for the summer. I have to go through the winter, but I think it will be just as good. Yeah, just have it done. The people who actually looked after the job and done the job, it was the best people that I come across. I felt very comfortable. I felt like if I was with my brothers. Yeah, so have no fear. They're great people.
Merri-bek Council is currently rolling out a new 4-bin waste service. This is part of the state government curbside reforms, and all Victorian councils will move to a 4-bin system. New purple-lidded glass recycling bins are currently being delivered to households and businesses across Merri-bek. Glass recycling bin collections will start in July, so please store your purple bins somewhere safely until then. Until glass recycling collection begins, continue using your yellow mixed recycling bin for all recycling material. From July this year, purple glass recycling bins will be picked up monthly or every 4 weeks. You can place your empty glass jars and bottles into this bin. If jars and bottles have their lids, make sure that they are kept on and not disposed of loosely inside the bin. By sorting your glass into a separate bin, you are improving the quality of recyclables in Merri-bek. You can learn more about the 4-bin service at merri-bek.vic.gov.au/your-new-bins.
I'm here on behalf of the City of Moreland to start the official process of renaming our municipality. The council received a letter from the Wurundjeri Wurrung. The Wurundjeri Wurrung said, retention of this name for the principal civic body for a diverse community is untenable. The council agreed.
The language of this land is not lost, it's still looking for its people. And this is one big step actually to bring the voice of the land back by naming the local language area. Language connects us to culture. It's how we learn everything, how we express everything. Now let's use all the wisdom, resources, capacity, knowledge, history to learn from the past and never...
Good evening, councillors, and to our viewers live streaming tonight's meeting. You cannot hear me. Okay. Erin. Can anybody hear me? Okay, I'm getting thumbs up and nods. Awesome, thank you. So let's start that one again. Good evening, councillors, and to our viewers live streaming tonight's meeting. My name is Councillor Angelica Panopoulos, and I am the Mayor of Merri-bek City Council for now. And it is my pleasure to welcome you to tonight's council meeting, being held for the council to elect the next mayor and the next deputy mayor. This meeting is being held on the lands of the Wurundjeri Woi-wurrung people, and it was taken from them without a treaty process, consent or compensation, and sovereignty was never ceded. We wish to acknowledge them as the traditional custodians of these lands and waterways, and would also like to pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging, and to all First Nations communities who significantly contribute to the life of this city. This council meeting is being recorded and web streamed live to council's website and Facebook, and the recording will also be available as video on demand. So for members of the community viewing this meeting, I'd like to introduce the following councillors in attendance tonight. We've got Councillor Adam Pulford.
Hi everyone.
Councillor Anna-Olivia Carley-Hannon. Councillor Helen Pavlidis. Good evening. Our Deputy Mayor, Councillor Helen Davidson. Good evening. Councillor James Conlon.
Hi everyone.
Councillor Lambros Tapanos. Councillor Mark Riley. Councillor Monica Hart.
Evening, everyone.
And Councillor Sue Bolton.
Hi, everybody.
And we've also got Councillor Oscar Yield is approved to attend online tonight. I also just want to acknowledge that we've got in attendance this evening several past mayors. So to former councillors, Natalie Abood, there she is, John Kavanagh, Joe Caputo and Mark Hickenbotham, thank you and welcome here this evening. So councillors, are there any apologies for tonight? No, all right. Any conflicts of interest to declare for this evening? If not, we'll move on to the next item, which is asking council to determine the term of the mayor. So the Local Government Act 2020 provides that before the election of the mayor, the council must determine by resolution whether the mayor is to be elected for a 1-year or a 2-year term. But given that this is the final year of the council term, it's appropriate to elect the mayor for a 1-year term. So councillors, is there a motion to please set the term for the mayor for 1 year? Councillor Riley to move. Councillor Davidson to second. Is there any need for debate or discussion? No. All right, all those in favour? All those against? That is carried unanimously. Excellent.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to make a couple of presentations at this point. First of all, I want to thank Deputy Mayor Helen Davidson for her service as Deputy Mayor in the past year. I've just got to get up and I'm just going to present a gift on behalf of Council. And now, councillors and community, I'd just like to make a presentation to say thank you to the Mayor, Councillor Angelica Panopoulos, for a great year as Mayor as well. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Kathy. All right, I will hold this all night. Okay, so as is tradition, I've been allowed to say a few words this evening as the outgoing Mayor. So I just want to begin by saying a huge thank you. Thank you to all of my fellow councillors for electing me as your Mayor for 2023 and for all of your support this year. Thank you to Kathy and to Anita, Joseph, Eamon and Sue, and of course to my Deputy Mayor Helen as well, a huge thank you. To Catherine and Sarah, who were my EAs over the year. Thank you to my friends, to colleagues who became friends, and to my family as well for everything this year. Also, a huge thanks to Tim and Samantha, who aren't here, and to Adam and Mark as well for all of your support over the years. Of course, though, perhaps the biggest thank you is to the community for, I guess, making this job, which can be quite difficult and overwhelming at times. A huge thank you because you've all made it like completely worth it. So this is something that I will never ever forget, and I will always cherish being your Mayor for the 2023 council year. I was elected on November 29 last year, a few days after an incredibly interesting state election campaign, and I was elected as our youngest Mayor in Merri-bek and had just finished uni like a month beforehand. So it was a very busy time at that period last year. In my ceremonial speech, I talked to the fact that my election as the Mayor showed that women and that young women deserve to be in all places where important decisions are being made, and that democracy and politics belongs to all of us. And that's what I've worked really hard to try and prove this year. Community's been at the core of everything that I have done, and so I firmly believe that a strong, functioning, thriving democracy depends upon people showing up, like a whole bunch of you have at our council meetings and engagements over and over again. It depends on that. It depends on all of you holding us to account, and it depends on you working together with us so that we can build a positive future. And so from everyone at like the Better Breeze Block crew in Brunswick to the Glenroy Neighbourhood House to the Merri-bek Bug and to the friends of both the Moonee Ponds and the Merri Creek, like a huge, huge thank you for all of your work. And it's been a lot of fun and a great honour being able to fight for climate, economic and social justice together in Merri-bek over the last year. Being the Mayor of this council, it's a huge privilege. And there's no denying that the title of Mayor alone gives you a platform and a particular kind of power. And so I've tried to take every opportunity that I could to amplify our community's voices and to push for change. And I think, I was thinking through like my first and my last meeting as the Mayor of this council, and it is quite clear, based upon the decisions that we've made, that we know how to take a stand on some very big issues. And it was really because of the community backing us in and giving us that positive feedback that I had the courage and the confidence to follow through on a lot of those key decisions that did stir up some controversy or some feedback on the other side. So a huge thank you for that as well. One of the first decisions that I made as Mayor was to listen to the First Nations Advisory Committee recommendation to stop having citizenship ceremonies on January 26. And that was to recognise the day of mourning and survival for First Nations people. And when voting on the recommendation, I and the council, we understood that council would be in breach of the Federal Citizenship Code, which forced councils to have ceremonies on January 26. Now, the former government had made this rule, and then the new government at the time could decide to enforce it and strip us of our right to have citizenship ceremonies entirely, or they could just change the rule. And the latter is what they did. And so it became clear that one inner suburban council, one council decision on one casting vote drove federal policy change. And in hindsight, I think that actually set the tone for the rest of this year. It's reaffirmed my commitment to being brave and to taking calculated political risks and to pushing for rules to be changed when they are so clearly wrong. I hope that, so this was evidenced in my active participation in the Mayoral Task Force for Refugees, where we lobbied MPs for change in asylum seeker policy, and there's a lot that still needs to be done. But I've hoped that it's been clear that I've tried to use my platform to further the calls for justice. And it was refugee rights activism that introduced me to politics in the first place. And so I'm proud of the fact that I've been able to bring that sort of activist spirit into this council. Budget-wise, we've approved our biggest capital works budget ever. We've kicked off construction on the $36 million Faulkner Leisure Centre redevelopment, $29 million at the Saxon Street Creative and Community Hub. We opened the new Fleming Park and allocated $32 million towards upgrading a whole lot of our early years facilities over the next 5 years. Another thing that I'm really proud of is that we've nearly doubled our tree planting budget over the next 5 years, which accounts to an extra $1.5 million in that area. There are also two particular legacy pieces that I'm really proud of at council that I've helped to drive. And the first is regarding safety at the Merri Creek. So earlier this year, we had some really concerning reports of incidents happening along the creek, making people feel unsafe. And so instead of viewing this gender-based violence problem as too big for us to handle as a council, we thought let's actually do something about it. And we had 3 community events, a forum, a walk along the creek, and then a community gathering at the creek with music and with coffee and with conversations. And so that was an example of us taking something that was really quite awful and quite a big problem and thinking how can we tackle this and bring community in together. And I'm really proud of getting to work on that. The second one is around the Coburg conversation, and I'm really proud to have helped with all of our council push us towards actually engaging on the future of Central Coburg. We need new housing, we need a new library, new community gathering spaces and green, cool spaces. And so we're finally doing some consultation on that. And, I might not be the mayor, I might not be on this council by the time that that vision becomes a reality, but I'm so pleased that we've all been able to set that up. So to wrap up, looking back on this year, I think that I've come quite far on both a personal and professional level. I think now I know that I am quite bold and courageous when it comes to making decisions in this council chamber, and that I can trust those instincts and in working with people and trying really hard to bring community together on those big decisions. So whilst I'm sad that my time as mayor is coming to an end, I know that I can vacate this position knowing that I have given it my all, that I've led with positivity and courage, and that I believe that I've left Merri-bek a better place. So thank you all again for a year that I will never, ever forget. So thanks, everyone. Okay. And now to the election of the new mayor. So the Local Government Act 2020 and Council's governance rules require the election of the mayor to be presided over by the Chief Executive Officer. So I'll now ask Kathy Henderson to please conduct the election. I move back to my seat. I'll be right.
Yeah, there is. Thank you so much, Councillor Angelica Panopoulos. Can everyone hear me? Yes, great. So, councils and community, in line with Local Government Act 2020, as well as council's own governance rules, the mayor must be elected by an absolute majority of the councillors. And for Merri-bek City Council, this is 6 votes, and voting must be by a show of hands. Now, Councillor Yildiz was with us earlier, but he's now sent his apology. The majority remains that it has to be 6 votes in order to declare a mayor elected. So, councillors, I'm going to call for nominations for the position of mayor. Are there any nominations? Councillor Pulford, do you accept that?
Yes, I accept that. Thank you.
And is there a seconder for that nomination? Mark Riley, I saw first. Thank you. So we've got one nomination, Adam Pulford, nominated by Councillor Tapanos and seconded by Councillor Riley. Are there other nominations? Councillor Pavlidis.
Councillor Helen Davidson.
Is there a seconder for Councillor Davidson? Councillor Hart? Thank you. Councillor Davidson, do you accept that nomination? So that's nomination of Councillor Davidson, nominated by Councillor Pavlidis and seconded by Councillor Hart. Are there any further nominations?
Could I ask that the candidates say a few words before we vote?
Councillor Bolton, can you just hold that thought for a moment? I'm about to close nominations. Are there any further nominations for Mayor? All right, I'm closing nominations. There are 2 nominations for the position of Mayor. Now, I'm aware that people might want to move a procedural motion to invite candidates for Mayor to address the meeting. Is that?
Let's move that.
Okay, so Councillor Bolton, that's a motion to invite the mayoral candidates to address the meeting before the voting is held. Is there a seconder for that? Councillor Conlon has seconded that motion. There won't be debate on that motion, so this is about whether mayoral candidates be invited to address the meeting. I'm about to put it to the vote. All those in favour of this procedural motion, please raise your hand. All those against? That is carried. So in the order of nomination, I'm going to invite Councillor Pulford to address the meeting.
Thank you to the CEO. Thank you to community members who are here and to councillors. Council is where our community comes together, and here at Council we do so much, from our libraries and our maternal child health centres, from planning what our city looks like, from what our streets look like, how people can get around our city through transport. And on a lot of those issues, we here at Merri-bek are leading the country. We're a proudly progressive council, and we reflect our diverse and progressive community. The Mayor is the key spokesperson and representative for Council for the coming year. The Mayor gets to explain, to promote and to defend Council's work and positions across all issues. The Mayor also is the chair of our meetings, which are where our community comes together for our local democracy to make decisions about our future, set our priorities and share our views. They're I think the 2 key roles of Mayor, the chairing and being the key spokesperson. I would see it as a huge honour to be elected as Mayor by my fellow councillors this evening, but it would also be a big responsibility. I feel ready for this. Being Mayor means you make our local democracy function, but it does provide that larger platform in terms of getting community and media attention as well. One of the key issues, if I were to be elected Mayor, that I'd like to focus on is road safety, because that's an issue that comes up in our chamber here time and time again, whether it's about a safe crossing at Bell Street Bridge, or whether it's Murray Road, whether it's a Queen Street crossing on Moreland Road, or whether it's getting around safely as a cyclist. Time and again we hear passionate residents of our community with our energy and real demand for better work on that area. Since COVID, transport habits have changed and our community is getting more dense, so there are challenges that we have to face up to there. Also, the road death toll is at a high, which we've seen members of our community lost on our streets. So that's a key reason why I think I'd like to focus on road safety. I think as Mayor, you can bring our community and council together around those issues, but also broader than that, the neighbouring councils and the like-minded councils. Council has more to do itself on road safety, but we're limited by our limited budget, obviously, and the challenges we face are huge. And so I think councillors and councils coming together to call for more action from federal and state governments, which basically just means more money for us to be able to do the work, I think is really important. So I'd prioritise that. So yeah, thank you for the opportunity to speak to councillors and everybody, and I would love your support this evening.
Thank you, Councillor Pulford. Thank you. I'll now invite Councillor Davidson to address the meeting. Thank you, Councillor Davidson.
As an independent, working with numerous good thanks. I've built relationships with councillors, council staff, and I bring to the council a fair and balanced approach, allowing people's voices to be heard and debate to flourish. I think that I've contributed to this council and shown my dedication since 2012, listening to the community, relaying their concerns for the Northwest Ward and for the broader Merri-bek community as well. I bring a fair and balanced approach to council and facilitating good debate and good governance, which is the primary role of Mayor and separates the role of Mayor from the role of councillor. I have strong relationships with various stakeholders that I've cultivated over the years, including various levels from state and federal government. I continue to support the core services of council and what we do best within the community and listening to the voices of the community and representing those at council, particularly through our budget and how we prioritise our services through the budget. There's fundamental aspects of council that I hold dear, including those primary services to sport and recreation, to aged care and to early learning. Those are the services that have a huge impact within our municipality and the ones that have lifelong ramifications for the community. I'm conscious of the environment that we're living in at the moment and the need to protect the environment. We've done a great job with tree planting across the municipality, which has increased by 30% in the last year. Those are the services that I think we can continue to better on. And through the role of Mayor, I hope to facilitate the community engagement, listening to those voices, to the people who come to us and to those people who may not have a loud voice but have a need to be heard as well. And that is what I can bring as Mayor.
Thank you very much, Councillor Davidson. I'm now going to put this to the vote and it will be in the order of nomination. So I'm first going to put up who's voting for Councillor Pulford and then it will be who's voting for Councillor Davidson. So we'll do that now. So all those in favour of voting for Councillor Pulford as Mayor, please raise your hand. Thank you, that's 7. All those in favour of voting for Councillor Davidson, please raise your hand. Thank you, that's 3. I'm very pleased to announce that Councillor Pulford has been elected Mayor of Merri-bek City Council tonight. Congratulations.
Sorry for the few. Okay, thank you, everybody. And I'd also like to begin by acknowledging that this meeting is being held on the lands of the Wurundjeri Woiwurrung people. I wish to acknowledge them as the traditional custodians of these lands and waterways, and would also like to pay our respect to their elders past, present and emerging, as well as to all First Nations communities who significantly contribute to the life of this area. I acknowledge their cultural heritage, their relationship with country and the contribution they make to the life of our city. I'd also like to acknowledge members of Parliament, former mayors and councillors, and the other community leaders who've joined us or may be watching online tonight. To my fellow councillors, residents of Merri-bek, friends and family, I'm honoured to be elected as mayor. Mayor of this city that is enriched by our diverse and our engaged community. I'm proud to lead this council over the next 12 months, and with the support of my fellow councillors, I will serve the people of Merri-bek with integrity, keeping their or your best interests at the heart of everything we do. I commit to leading council and building on the great strides we've made during the third year of our community vision and council plan. To the outgoing mayor, Councillor Angelica Panopoulos, thank you very much for your hard work and dedication to our community over the last year. I don't know whether you had a weekend free. Yeah, to hear about how you obviously finished uni and ran a state election campaign and went into mayor, I hope you can finally have a rest now. Obviously still doing your councillor duties. But to just highlight some of the council directions and projects that you've overseen. Over the past year, council's delivered on some really big projects like Angelica highlighted, the Faulkner Leisure Centre and the Saxon Community Centre. And a sustainable future remains high on our priority list, with our tree planting increasing by 30% from the previous year, which is good because trees help make our city more beautiful, but also help cool the city and the streets for members of the community getting around. We installed subsidised rooftop solar systems on homes in Merri-bek, secured a $500,000 federal grant towards a project to install a community battery in Brunswick that will help improve network conditions and reduce energy bills and emissions. We introduced big changes to our waste service, and we are already sending fewer and fewer tonnes to landfill. Just picture you stopping the trucks by yourself. We introduced big change, we continued our work on reconciliation. We continued to advocate on important topics such as duplicating the upfield rail, improving our bus network, and social and affordable housing. So thank you, Councillor Angelica, and congratulations on your mayoral year. Thank you also to Councillor Helen Davidson for your work as Deputy Mayor over the past year. So, yeah, it's a little bit of a mess in terms of I've got some notes on my phone as well. But just wanted to say to everyone here that I'm really grateful to be here tonight, having been entrusted with the role of Mayor, elected by my fellow councillors. I'm a proud queer person, and I absolutely love our thriving and diverse and progressive community. It's a huge honour to be in this role for the next year, and I'll give it my all, and I don't want to waste a minute. Follow Angelica's lead. I'm not actually from here originally. I was born in Nhulunbuy up in Arnhem Land, and last year I had to step out of council for a little bit because my mum was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. She lived in South Australia, and so I spent a bunch of last year travelling to SA to help care for mum. I think she would be proud, but also find it funny that her little boy from Nhulunbuy is now the mayor of Merri-bek for the next 12 months. My dad's also very surprised I'm agreeing. I've made home here. I don't want to live anywhere else. I feel like when you lay down roots in a community, you're invested in it. And even if I do at some point in my life disappear for a while, this is home to me. I'm grateful for all of our community members and groups who are so engaged with the work that we do, who push us to be better, who hold us to account, who get in touch with us. I'm grateful for the support and love of my incredible husband, Nicolo, who's out in the audience there, and my family, my friends, the Kelso crew, and so many more to mention. The last thing I'd say is just thank you to my current colleagues at the First Peoples Assembly of Victoria. They're the organisation leading the journey to treaty. Victoria Mob in Victoria are leading the country in terms of advancing self-determination, and there's so much exciting work happening here. Check them out, and check out the York Justice Commission, who's also leading Australia's first formal truth-telling process. I do have to speak for a little bit longer, sorry, but I just want to talk about some of the work that we have been doing as council and we've got coming up for the last 12 months of this term. As you know, we're the closest level of government to our community. Our staff maintain our roads, our parks and playgrounds, and interact with community through many of our more than 150 services in our libraries, maternal and child health centres, and when visiting older residents. Although we're in our 4th and final year this term, the way the cycle works out is we're currently in year 3 of our council plan. I'm delighted to say we're making great progress across the goals and actions in the plan. We have 5 themes in our council plan: an environmentally proactive Merri-bek, moving and living safely in Merri-bek, a healthy and caring Merri-bek, vibrant spaces and places in Merri-bek, and an empowered and collaborative Merri-bek. Well done to the comms team. I'm so pleased to be able to say that redevelopment works at Fawkner Leisure Centre are progressing on time and on budget. Internal and external demolition is now complete. I'm also pleased that it is my role to tell people that internal and external demolition is now complete. The 50-metre pool floor slab is complete, wall construction's progressing well, foundations of the pool slab have been completed, and the gym extension's getting underway. Well done to that team managing that. The headline there is that we're on track to complete the Fawkner Leisure Centre redevelopment by summer next year. So, yes. Exciting changes are also happening at 33 Saxon Street in Brunswick. We're redeveloping the site to create a cultural and community hub that will draw in visitors to experience a range of activities and events. The upgrade will create approximately 3,500 square metres of floor space, and will deliver an accessible and functional building with welcoming and affordable spaces for creatives, artists, and the Merri-bek community. Construction has already begun, and completion is expected by the end of next year. Just going to highlight a little bit of work on some of our 5 council themes. For the first one, achieving an environmental proactive Merri-bek, climate change and the risk it presents to us will continue to be front of mind in council decision making as we work to continue cutting our own emissions and also mitigate the impacts of climate change on our community. We are in a climate emergency, and I'm so proud to be part of this council that is leading on climate action, but also facing up to climate risks and how that will affect our community, because climate change will affect every part of our community and everyone in our community. Some of the actions we're taking under that are installing 44 subsidised rooftop solar systems on eligible residents' homes, helping households save $750 a year. Another 77 households received subsidies from us to upgrade the heating of their home to help reduce energy demand as well. For the second theme, moving and living safely in Merri-bek, we're improving pedestrian safety by implementing 40 kilometres an hour on all of our local roads that are currently 50 kilometres an hour. We're building and maintaining infrastructure to support active transport and planning to increase our investment every year. And at the last meeting, Council voted to build protected bike lanes onto Carl Street, which is an exciting project we've got coming up. We're finalising our transport strategy following community feedback. It's now out for the last round of engagement. Please do give your feedback on that. And we're continuing to advocate for improved public transport capacity and equitable access across Merri-bek, including our better bus networks, which we do need. My bus was 15 minutes late tonight. But also duplicating the Upfield rail line and investments in making tram lines more accessible for residents. That's particularly important given the proposed level crossing removals in Brunswick, which we'll continue to advocate for great outcomes on. The fourth, healthy and caring Merri-bek. We're continuing with our children, young people and families plan, including support for a new group of youth ambassadors and our children's reference group, delivering a large program of investment and expanding and building kindergarten and early years facilities co-funded by council and the state government, implementing our LGBTIQA+ action plan in collaboration with our queer reference group, and obviously the Faulkner Leisure Centre development and the Bulert project in Glenroy as well as all the community services we continue to provide. And finally, on our fifth theme, creating vibrant spaces and places in Merri-bek, we'll keep going with the Saxon Street redevelopment. We renew shopping strips with new footpaths, lighting, arts and trees, and continue to run our incredible festivals, including the Sydney Road Street Party, Brunswick Music Festival, Coburg Night Markets, Glenroy Festival and Faulkner Festa. And finally, continue to improve access to parks through our Parks Close to Home program. And now finally, for the fifth theme, empowered and collaborative Merri-bek. We'll continue to support our community connectors, who are a group of residents who help pass council information amongst their local religious or ethnic communities. Keep going with our community engagement policy and our accessible and inclusive communications policy, making sure Snap Send Solve works better with our customer systems, and we're also asking for more feedback on budgets as we enter our final budget of this year. All of this and more means that we're delivering our largest capital works program ever in real dollar terms of $127 million this year, which is huge. Finally, our wonderful community make Merri-bek a great place to live, work, play or visit. We are one community, we're proudly diverse, and of course, there's always more work to do, so please do keep showing up and calling us and emailing us and hassling us. It's interesting talking to councillors in other communities. Some of them say they barely get an email a week from a resident, but here you guys are a lot more active, and it's good because you give us ideas, you hold us to account, you put the pressure on, and we all benefit from that. So I look forward to working with councillors, council officers, and the community over the next year, and thank you again for your support.
Thank you, Mayor. There was one little thing I forgot to do. I'll just do it. It's now a tradition that I forget this. Congratulations. So as with the mayoral position, under the Local Government Act and our governance rules, the Chief Executive Officer has to conduct the election for Deputy Mayor. And as with the position of Mayor, the Act requires that there's an absolute majority of votes, which here is 6. So I'm going to open nominations for the position of Deputy Mayor. Are there any nominations? Councillor Panopoulos.
Can I nominate Councillor Lambros-Tapanos?
Councillor Tapanos. Is there a seconder? Councillor Carly Hannon. Councillor Tapanos, do you accept that? I do. Thank you.
I do, yeah.
Thank you very much. Are there further nominations for the position of Deputy Mayor? I'm about to close nominations for the position of Deputy Mayor. I'm closing nominations for the position of Deputy Mayor. Congratulations, Councillor Tapanos. I declare you elected to the position of Deputy Mayor. Congratulations.
Thank you, Kathy, and also congratulations to our new Deputy Mayor, Councillor Lambros-Tapanos. This concludes tonight's events in the Chamber. I'd like to thank everyone who's attended either online or in person, and I now declare the council meeting closed. So, I now declare the council meeting closed, and for those who are here, there's some